Arkansas. They're an excellent serving team. They've got Florida on the defensive right away as Martin bumps it over. Set back, Cartwright on the swing, and the first point of this match goes to Maggie Cartwright on senior day.
And you said it, Eric, they controlled the point from the start. Hannah Hogue, one of the best servers in the league on the best serving team in the league, which is Arkansas. That will be a key piece of today's match.
Hogue grabs the tape. And there's the first swing for Kennedy Martin, freshman, Fort Mill, South Carolina, who continues to pile up the numbers in her freshman season for Florida. As you just talked about, she has been the constant.
Well, she's the recipient of a good set, and it's all because Canaan nailed the pass. It was a 3-option pass, and so you've got Kennedy Martin able to hit over Jill Gillen. That's a great matchup.
Ellie McKissick with the serve for Florida. They'll try Gillen again. Florida's there with the defense, and a chance now from the left side. Arkansas is an outstanding passing defensive team. That back row defense is excellent. That one's going to be off the mark, and it's going to be a point for Arkansas.
Obviously, Sophia Victoria, they're going for high hands on the left side, hoping to get a piece of that Arkansas block. But several ballers here early to Maggie Cartwright on the right side for Arkansas, and she's swinging into Florida's right back. Keep an eye on that, forcing their setter, Kennedy Muff, who came in the absence of Alexis Stuckey, to have to play defense.
Service error for Gillen and Arkansas. So Florida will side out. They'll get Gabby Essex into the match in the middle. And coming on to serve is Trinity Adams. Adams good from the service line for this Florida team that served very well in their sweep at Missouri on Friday night.
Free ball for Florida.
Evans tried to reflexively flick it over the net. She could not. And the Gators are in front.
A good start there for Florida to be able to establish their middle early on a free ball opportunity. It's a team who isn't going to look to their middle for too much offensive production, but obviously establishing it early will open things up for the Pins.
Cartwright. Nice diving attempt to try to get it by Adams, but it's a point for Arkansas. Take me through how you think this match might unfold. Some of the keys for both teams as they get started here in set one.
Well, if you noticed, both of these teams started with their setters in right back. Two smaller setters. When those setters in the front row, the opponents have to be able to side out. They have to use that matchup to their advantage. So if they allow their opponent to go for a run with the setter in the front row, that's going to be trouble. Both of these teams have that opportunity to side out over the setter, but really this one is going to happen from the service line. In the first matchup between these two, Arkansas dominated the match from the service line and prevented Florida from blocking balls. Florida has to block balls today. That
first match was October 29th in Gainesville. Arkansas got the sweep, their first ever win in Gainesville. Gillen and Cartwright each had 12 kills. Taylor Head had 10 kills. Arkansas hit 287 in that match. We're tight here in set one. Point for Arkansas. The last time Arkansas beat Florida here in Fayetteville was 2015. It's been a season of first and has not happened in a while for Arkansas this season. That one's going to float long and a couple of service errors. Very aggressive serving team. They're going to have their mistakes, but more often than not, they'll keep you on your heels.
And it's interesting because it's not necessarily with pace on the ball, but it's with movement. And they do a great job of serving seams between passers, and they do a great job of landing it deep on the inline.
Service error for Florida evens things at 5. We mentioned that last match for Florida, the sweep Friday at Missouri, ending the Tigers' 4-match winning streak. Florida had 5 aces in that first set, and they ended with 8 aces Friday. They served very effective against Mizzou. Tigers were out of system often in that match. It is tough to get Arkansas out of system as that one rolls over for an Arkansas point.
That's the experience of Arkansas right there. Florida getting block help from the left front. A.C. Patrick up to help, and that opens up that left front area.
128 wins here in Fayetteville for Jason Watson in his 19th season overall as a head coach. 23-4 this season, 13-2 in the SEC. To the middle, Pettis has it denied. Pettis will now set Gillen for the point.
Gillen doing a great job swinging down that line. Something Arkansas was successful in the first meeting between these teams was preventing Ellie McKissick from controlling the defense for Florida. So they over-attacked the right side of the court. Ellie McKissick plays in left back defense and forced Kennedy Martin in middle back and the right back defender to have to defend.
There's an ace for Taylor Head. That is her 32nd ace of the season, and Arkansas as a team has 200 aces this season.
Coming into this, Taylor Head had a 1-to-1 ace to error ratio, and now she's +1, more aces than errors on the season. She can say that along with her setter, Hannah Hope. To have 2 players on the same team with those numbers is incredible.
Cartwright with the pancake save. Martin dives to keep it in play, and Florida still in the point. Jackson to Hogue to Pettis. Great job digging it out there by Adams. But into the net, Martin on the attack, and Arkansas has their largest lead of this first set. They're up by 4 all of a sudden.
Florida got the defense they needed there, but look at this early pancake from Maggie Cartwright, who, by the way, is playing in the back row for the first time ever in her career in 6 rotations, making it look easy.
Essex with the point, much needed after the 5-0 run for Arkansas.
Couple kills for Essex in that trip across the front row is really good news for Florida, and she kills 1 in front of the setter and 1 behind, so some nice diversity in the middle of the floor.
2 swings, 2 kills for the junior from Hoover, Alabama, who's averaging a kill a set. Emily Cannon set the serve. Gillen in serve receive. Her kill was denied. Fitzpatrick stopped at the net. Fitzpatrick on the resets, off hands, point Florida.
Florida looking like Arkansas, to be honest, on that point, because they use great block coverage to give their team a second look, and then on that second look, this is an opportunity with setter front row for Arkansas. AC Fitzpatrick goes right at those hands.
Pettis. Okamore tried to get it, could not control it. Side out for Arkansas, and they'll get Zoe Evans onto the floor.
A deadly tip by Pettis, though.
Yes.
You know, that's what I like about the Arkansas tip game. They don't just throw it into the middle of the floor as a free ball. They place their tips so incredibly well.
Jada Lawson comes on the serve. Tight at the net. Martin reaches out, diving play, as Lawson tried to get there, couldn't keep it in play, and it's a point for the Gators.
Smart play for the freshman, who doesn't look like a freshman anymore. She's had so many looks this season, playing like a veteran, very aware of the holes in the defense. That block help coming from the left side, and she goes at it.
How about that battle at the net? There's a setter in the front row showing some of that strength to get the point for Arkansas.
No one gets more opportunities at the joust than a setter. And by the end of their career, no one better at a joust than the setter, Hannah Hogue, showing off her skills.
Are you telling me practice and repetition makes perfect?
Yeah, hard to believe,
perfect right there, yes. That one came up on McKissick. Florida trying to keep it in play, but again, another good serve from Arkansas, and it's a point for the Razorbacks, back on top by 4.
And I mentioned earlier, Hogue came into this +1 in terms of aces to errors. That is unheard of. Make it +2 now. She gets another ace here against Florida. And as I said, it's not the pace on the ball, it's the placement and the movement going at seams.
So Hannah Hogue on the season, 44 aces, 42 service errors. I couldn't get it out in time, though.
Yeah,
so, but she's still a +1. She's still a +1.
Exactly.
You're still happy with that. I like, okay.
She's still +1.
That was your stat of the day, so I want to make sure we shine some light on it.
Thank you for doing that. It's just, you don't often write that down for someone to be in the positives in the ace to error ratio, and to have 2 on the same team now with Taylor Head. Really incredible.
Cartwright with the big swing on the attack for Arkansas.
That's a side-out rotation where Arkansas has a couple options. They can stack everyone to the left, which they do here, and it gives Maggie Cartwright that ability to run down the middle of the court rather than to hit behind. It's just one more good look for the Razorbacks.
Cartwright was good against Ole Miss in the 5-setter, 15 kills, had 3 blocks. Arkansas had to work in that match, though, last time out. It was a reverse sweep over Ole Miss. Arkansas won 25-15 in the fourth, 15-8 in the fifth. They hit 389 in the fifth. So somewhere a switch was flipped in the middle of that match.
And you know, while you might look at the opponent and say, oh, no big deal, I think competitively that was a really important match for Arkansas, because last time they were down 0-2, it was to Georgia and they got swept. So I think learning to compete, you know, if you're going to make a deep run in the tournament, you better be able to do that. And for Florida to make a deep run in the tournament, they better be able to block balls. And Gabby Essex doing a really nice job of that. In the first meeting between these two, Florida did not have a stuff block the entire first set. So they've already improved that.
You pointed it out, Essex off to a great start for Florida here in set one. That one misses the mark. It's a point for the Gators, punching back here in the first set.
And interesting, right after a stuff block, a hitting error. So often a block cannot result in just 1 point, but 2 or 3, because you have the ability to impact the thought process of the attackers.
Gillen has trouble handling that serve. It's an ace for the Gators. So Mary Wise's team, they have been a gritty, scrappy bunch all season. You went through it at the very top, the injuries that set them back time and again, most notably to their All-American setter, Alexis Stuckey. It's been the narrative and the theme all season, but I think we saw on Friday, Florida playing that cohesive volleyball, playing really well at the net. That defense has always been a Mary Wise staple.
Yeah, there's some Florida teams who, you know, come mid-season, they've gotten about as good as they're going to get. This Florida team, as you're seeing right now, is a team who, because of all the adjustments and the youth, has the ability to continue to get better, even into late November. And we talked about the point scoring of Kennedy Martin coming in many fashions. Well, one of those ways that she's scoring points for Florida is with her block, and she gets the stuff right there. 5-0
run for Florida ends on the service error from Adams. So both teams have had 5-0 runs here in set one. And we're even at 14. Next point, we'll have immediate timeouts as we play the best of 5. Courtney Jackson. Jackson sets it on the right side. Cartwright blocked down. Victoria leading the charge at the net. Already 3 blocks for the Gators here in set one, and they hit the media timeout with the 1-point lead.
In 10 of the last 12 seasons, Florida's finished in the top 3 in the league in blocking. Is it an indicator of Gator success?
Arkansas meets as we start the final week of the regular season, and out of the media timeout, Arkansas goes to work and ties it at 15.
Taylor Head hitting negative coming out of that timeout, goes to work at writing her numbers. Really nice swing there from the left side.
Taylor Head hitting negative was not going to last very long. No. Muff goes long distance to Victoria on the set. Head picks out the spot beautifully. Well, it is senior day here, and when you've played as many points as Taylor Head and Jill Gillen, you know the savvy ways to score points as well.
This is what they did in the first meeting, though. They show tip, and they get that defender on the wing to collapse, and then they go deep over their head. They had so much success with that.
On the overpass, the kill from Pettis in the middle.
This has been an issue for Florida over the last month, passing the ball too tight to the net, allowing the team to overpass swing rather than just an easy big box pass. Keep it off the net, allow your team to run an offense.
So a 3-0 run for Arkansas out of the media timeout forces Florida to use their first of 2 timeouts here in the first set. We mentioned that Florida has won 3 in a row. A guarantee if you run the table, but there's hope.
And I think, you know, one of the things that the committee will take a close look at is your last 10, so that becomes very important.
Yeah.
And Florida, playing in the SEC, who has quite a few ranked teams this season, has 2 ranked opportunities, including this one right here, ahead of them.
Cartwright with the serve out of the timeout. Victoria with the attack error, and the run continues for the Razorbacks. A 4-0 run right now for Arkansas.
Passing held Florida back in the first meeting between these two teams, and here in the middle of set one, it's become a bit of an issue. We'll see if they can pass themselves out of this.
Good serve by Cartwright. Chance here for Arkansas to add to this run. Gillen rolls it over. That's Martin on the court. Head And an error on Florida, point for Arkansas.
It's going to be Gadiasek, number 10, called into the net there as she went up to block. We'll see who Cartwright goes at. We've seen a lot of teams go at Florida's defensive specialist on the court, whether it be Adams or Canan. Right now, Adams passing in right back.
Sails long. That's service error number 5 for the Razorbacks. Again, here in the first.
I think it was a great example, though, of Maggie Cartwright. She didn't go right on Adams. She goes at the seam between the libero, Ellie McKissick, and Adams. That is a great place to serve. Forces them to not only have to communicate one to another, but then to communicate in or out. And it's a good call by McKissick.
Soft serve to Gillen. Attack at the net. And the point goes to Arkansas. Razorbacks first to 20 here in the first set. Taylor Head back to serve. She's reached double digits in kills in every match except one, and that was the sweep at Georgia. Back row attack. That one goes long, and Arkansas adds to their lead.
And if you're a Razorback opponent, you just can't catch your breath. It is one good server after another stepping back to the line, and they have got this Florida passing line, a little shaken.
Fitzpatrick. That's off hands, and it's a point for Florida. I think Fitzpatrick is fun to watch, too. You talk about two players on opposite sides of the net that maximize what they got. Fitzpatrick and Gillen on the other side for Arkansas.
Two smaller outside hitters in this league, but two of the most dynamic.
Here is Gillen. Cartwright saved it. Gillen finished it.
Great example of that play you were just alluding to, the smaller but very dynamic outside hitter in Jill Gillen. The save, again, it's Maggie Cartwright playing a beautiful right back, and the big push from Hannah Hogue, who is just doing an incredible job.
Gene to Oregon to close out their season.
Arkansas would be the first to say that when they missed out on the tournament in 2021, they took it personally.
They should have.
They definitely took it personally, but I tell you what, they didn't allow their complaining to outweigh their work. They just went right back to work, and they made sure that there was absolutely no chance the committee could leave them out the next year.
Jada Lawson on to serve. And there's a point for Fitzpatrick out of the timeout for the Gators. And think about it, too. We talked about, well, could Florida be a team, if they run the table here, could they be under consideration for hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament? Arkansas is a team that's closing in on being a tournament host here in the first and second round.
Definitely.
Martin. Oh, great job. That's Jackson with the up, keeping Arkansas in the play. Martin tries again. And again. And then Gillen tools the block and gets the point. It starts with the defense. The back row defense for Arkansas is phenomenal. There's a reason why opponents are hitting just 180 against Arkansas this year. That's the best in the SEC.
Look at the dig by Jackson, just fighting that ball off. And then Jill Gillen, in what looks to be a very tough matchup against Kennedy Martin, uses those blockers' hands.
23-18. Muff sets it back to Martin again, and no doubt about this one for Kennedy Martin, who gets her 3rd kill of set 1.
Kennedy was asked after the match at Mizzou where she feels like she's most improved over the course of the season, and she talked about her ability now to identify blocks and where they are. And obviously that time the middle doesn't close. She has all sorts of angle to swing at, but she identifies that early.
McKissick. Gillen a little off balance. Chance here for Florida to cut into the deficit. Jackson slides in. Head on the back row attack. Victoria on the outside. Picked off by Hogue. Arkansas again staying in the point. And then a violation. Point Arkansas. Set point Razorbacks.
Take a look at this save out of the net by Hogue. She knows exactly what she's doing there, waiting for that ball to come out of the net. Arkansas's ability to stay in the long rallies, stick with it defensively, and then capitalize on a good offensive look is just the best in the country.
Gillen serving for the set. SEC leader in aces with 45 entering the match. Point for Florida, not done yet as Martin scores for the Gators. Trinity Adams on, hoping to go on an epic service run right now. Setting the middle. Hogue to Jackson, to Taylor Head. That's McKissick. Great save by the senior. Set back, Cartwright. Point, Arkansas, set one, goes to the Razorbacks.
It's offense from pin to pin for these seniors from ARC. One option passes with their serve, which then makes that much easier to defend when everyone knows where the ball is going.
8 ties, 4 lead changes, but a couple of big runs for Arkansas. They had 2 5-0 runs in that first set. Florida had a 5-0 run of their own. Side out percentage, Florida was at 56% in the first set. Arkansas was at 70% in the first set. Gillen with the swing to start set 2. And Okamore in the middle gets the first point for Florida in the second set.
Good open hand tip there by Okamore, and you'll notice again Kennedy Muff, of course, the first one back to serve opposite her, Kennedy Martin. That's going to give her 3 rotations across the front row. They need to get the most out of her offensively.
Setter kill right there by Hannah Hogue.
This is such a great use of offense by Hannah Hogue because she's on the run. It's not a perfect pass. It's not necessarily when the blocker is expecting offense. And Hannah Hogue does such a good job of that, of setting the unexpected.
Hogue had 12 assists in that first set. She averages just better than 11 assists a game, 5 times center of the week in the SEC. Gillen with a big rip and the point for the Razorbacks.
The defense from Hogue, though, the one-arm dive to the right, looks so similar to some of the stick saves we saw from Jackson, their libero in left back in that first set. This is a group that has just played a whole lot of volleyball. Coach said our practices look a lot like a match. He said there's randomness in the game that you can't recreate unless you just play the game. And so they play a lot of volleyball in practice.
And that drops in for a Florida point. Tying in at 2 here in the second set.
Okamore using her height to her advantage, and that's exactly what you want to do. When you have size, you want to go up, high point that ball, get it to the floor quickly.
Okamore, one of the seniors, honored by Arkansas before the match. They recognize the Florida seniors, and after the match, Arkansas will have their senior day ceremony. Gillen for the point. Big rip by Jill Gillen on the left side. How many times have we said that during her fantastic career? That's her 6th kill. In
set 1, they ran Maggie Cartwright down the middle here. So they've already established that set. Nadie Okamore has to be on the lookout for the middle set to Cartwright. They float one past her to Jill Gillian, and they're not able to close the block there.
Pancake save by Hogue. Battle at the net, won by Taylor Head for Arkansas. Mary Wise thinking about a challenge here, and we will have a challenge.
Hannah Hogue with the pancake save. Tell you what, she's playing in a 6-2 with Gracie Ryan. She was not in a 5-1, not running the offense in all 6 rotations. And now here she is, a 5-time SEC Setter of the Week this season. So she has grown into that role quite well.
Wow, call is reversed. Missy Whittemore, you are incorrect. Hannah Hogue can't believe it.
That's nothing new, me being incorrect.
Jason Watson got one explanation. He wants a more detailed explanation. I would say about that, to your point, Missy, this is where I'll defend my teammate. I don't see enough there in what we're seeing that's like, oh, that's enough to reverse it. That, I think, is going to be what the Arkansas argument is from Hogan Watson, especially.
Oh,
what do you do?
So fast.
What do you do when things don't go your way? You try to correct it and keep it in your hands, and you work quickly like Hogue just did the head.
This is so fast out of Hannah Hogue's hands. I was thinking to myself, is Taylor Head going to be there in time? And to the point of how much experience they have playing together, they read each other. They know that when the pass is on her, she's going to take off.
Hogue again for the pancake. They play on. Look very similar.
Another pancake from Hogue. We're not going to get a challenge this time. And all the shots from Taylor Head, who turns on that one.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say another errant pass from Florida.
Just back to that play. Mary Wise could have challenged it again with nothing to lose, really, because she kept her 2 challenges because she had a successful challenge earlier, but didn't bring the green card out that time. Wasn't going to tempt fate. Pettis for Hogue for Head. That's in.
And again, the tempo of this set that we're seeing from Hogue, particularly outside to Head right now, and she's well off the net, setting that ball at her right back, and she is pushing it out there. She's really giving Head every opportunity she can against such a huge block in Essex and Martin.
There's Martin with the kill. Well, one thing you're seeing here today, Missy, and if you're a fan of things happening fast in offense and attacking, 3 of the top 5 SEC kill leaders are in this match. Kennedy Martin back to serve #1, Gillen just barely #2, and Taylor Head, who has 8 kills already today, is #5.
And all of
she's
those,
adding to her total.
Yeah, all of those players with over 4 kills per set. That's a monster number. You're talking at least 12 kills over the course of a 3-set match, typically more.
The consistency for Kennedy Martin has been off the charts. Double digits in kills in each match this season. Looking for Essex on the slide, missed her mark, and Arkansas has stretched it out to a 4-point lead here in set 2.
This is a 2-rotation hitter for Florida. They only have Gabby Essex and Sophia Victoria. Look for Kennedy Martin out of the back row.
Victoria. Gillen sends it up into the first row. And a point for Florida.
That 2-rotation hitter is particularly important for Florida because going back to their injuries, Anna Dixon was in their M1, which is the hitter, the middle blocker who would be in the front row in that particular rotation. And then they lost their freshman outside hitter, Kira Hudson. With her length, you would have expected her to be in the O1. So going into the season, you didn't expect either of those players to be in a position where they had to side out with only 2 hitters, and yet here Florida is.
There's a point for Pettis as Arkansas gets the point back. So what does that mean for Kennedy Martin? Is she being asked to do even more than Florida would have wanted her to do? Because she seems like she's handling everything pushed her away.
You couldn't have said any better. Asked to do even more. That in a rotation like that, where you'd hope to have Anna Dixon and a longer outside hitter, you now are looking to Kennedy Martin out of the back row even more than you would have.
Taylor Head with the serve. And that one is a kill for Fitzpatrick, touched by Arkansas. Point for Florida.
It's important there for Florida to use that rotation with Hannah Hogue in the front row. She's not a poor blocker, she's just a smaller blocker. And so that's an opportunity for them to get a quick side out there.
Undersized is what I would like to say, but plays big
yes, she
in
does.
her defense.
Yes,
that one
she does.
sails long, and it's a service error for Florida. That's the 4th for the Gators. Jada Lawson back on to serve. It has really been a tight lineup for Jason Watson right from the very start of the season. Remember, they had those 2 matches, memorable matches against Wisconsin, as Lawson has a service error. This is what you see is what you get for Arkansas this year, which is such a flip from Florida. You just went through the injuries they've had, and it's so hard to kind of reinvent yourself a few times. But for Jason Watson, it has been good fortune and good fate, knocking on wood right here, Arkansas fans. But that has been so important for them, and he's been riding with this group, and it's paid off. You're talking about a team that they play like this. That could be a team that would be in the mix for making an NCAA tournament run even. Fitzpatrick's having a good match, isn't she?
She is. And I tell you, that's something that Florida has been able to rely on. It seems as though either AC Fitzpatrick or Sophia Victoria will have the hot hand. And it can change from match to match, but one of them tends to be able to step up, and that has a lot to do with matchups. Which one of them gets a favorable matchup that they're able to take advantage of.
Fitzpatrick with 5 kills to match Kennedy Martin for the team lead. Head dug it out, then Head gets up and just could not recover and get it over the net. And the Gators are within 1 here in the second set.
Head knew exactly what she wanted there. She saw that AC Fitzpatrick was coming in from left front to help block that, and she was going for that short left front tip and just didn't clear the net.
Arkansas gets the point right back.
There's rotations where you really don't want to miss your serve, and for Florida, with the opportunity for Kennedy Martin to score for you across the front row, those are rotations where you want to keep your serve in, and yet we all know that fine line of having to be aggressive.
And also, they're building a little momentum. It was a 3-0 run that came to an end right there. You're just trying to find a way to quiet things down here in this building. McKissick dug it out from Gillen. Fitzpatrick, another kill for AC Fitzpatrick. That is 6 on 14 swings, no attack errors for the senior.
Fitzpatrick played herself into a nice little rhythm when Hannah Hogue was in the front row. She had that smaller blocker, but now she's got Cartwright up there before she subbed out, and she had created a nice offensive rhythm, and she was feeling it, went right at that big block.
I remember Mary Wise, at one point we had asked her, tell us about AC Fitzpatrick. Good hustle play by Arkansas here. They go back this time to Martin. Hogue's got the dig. Gillen on the reset. Point Arkansas.
The dig by Hogue. We said moments ago she's playing well in every facet of the game. Obviously setters set, but guess what? Setters serve and setters defend. Hogue doing it all. And I tell you what, her teammate Taylor Head doing it all as well. How about the hustle off of the court to keep that ball in play?
Martin, a little off balance, but it's going to work out. There have been cleaner points for Florida this year, but that counts just the same as all the pretty ones.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I said to Jason Watson earlier this season, you know, watching your team is like watching, you know, a ballet, the way that they move together. And that caused him concern. He said, oh no, there's too many ugly points in volleyball. We have to be able to win the ugly points too. I said, leave it to a coach to turn a compliment into a problem, right?
Cartwright found the mark. Arkansas up by 2.
Cartwright, like the other pins for this Arkansas team, does such a good job of attacking high and deep. You know, the discipline not to swing into that Florida block.
Courtney Jackson with the serve. Gillen, Hogue, Head, blocked by Martin. Point Florida.
It's the reason why Kennedy Martin is such a great point scorer, because she's not just an offensive player, and blocking is such a difficult skill at the collegiate level, and Kennedy Martin is making that transition so quickly.
Pettis, no. Florida has tied it at 13.
Pettis, a transfer from Mississippi State, gives Arkansas a lot more offensive option out of the middle than they had a season ago. And Coach Watson said, we feel like we're good enough passers, which I think most would agree, that they needed a middle who could take a lot of swings, and Pettis gives them that.
Victoria. Florida building some momentum right here. Martin. Jackson saved it. Hogue picked it off the net. Head found the spot. Taylor Head into double figures again. 10 kills already for the senior.
In Mary Wise's words, it's hard to find kills against Arkansas. When you've got Hogue and Jackson and Gillen defending the backcourt, good luck getting that ball to the floor.
A hush comes over Barnhill Arena. Respectfully for the Cartwright serve, and now they make some noise. Another big crowd. They have loved the 5-setter already with 10 here in set 2 against the Gators. Out of the media timeout, Cartwright continues to serve. And violation is called. It's going to be a point for Arkansas.
I believe she was called under the center line there. Your whole foot under the center line will be a violation. Again, this is the rotation that can spell some trouble for Florida. Setter in the front row, only 2 attackers. They tried to use Kennedy Martin out of middle back. She was blocked prior to the timeout. We'll see what they do here.
Off to Victoria, gets the point for Florida.
That's a big side out for Florida, and Victoria just throwing one into the block there. Hannah Hogue in the front row, so that's the matchup they're really looking for, but it took a good pass opportunity for them to get that look that they wanted.
Big rip. Fitzpatrick again delivers 7 kills for AC Fitzpatrick.
It's really a secondary setting situation where Trinity Adams comes in and just hangs up what would look like an out-of-system situation, but don't tell AC Fitzpatrick that. She came in swinging.
Team high 7 kills, hitting .467. Fitzpatrick again, this time no. That's her first attack error, and it's a point for the Razorbacks.
I like the idea. AC facing angle and tries to swing across her body and go over Hannah Hogue down the line. And that is the other thing that can happen when you've got that smaller middle blocker. It can also create errors because players know they have the matchup and they're going for it.
That goes for the serve, doesn't get it. 7th service error for the Razorbacks. They had 8 aces and 13 errors in their last match on Wednesday. Kanan serve. Gillen blocked. Florida's block gets it done. Their block was really good. Their last match, 10 in the 3 sets against Mizzou, comes up big here.
Nadia Okamore, nice job with her right hand. So often you talk about middles dropping their left hand, but because Jill Gillen likes the seam, she has to have a really strong right hand.
5 blocks now for Florida. Hogue looks for another kill. Center dump works out. Point for the Razorbacks.
And Florida specifically has McKissick in right back in that rotation, I think, to avoid situations like this, and she just can't quite make a play on it.
Lawson serves it for Arkansas. Back row attack, a lot on it that time for Kennedy Martin for the kill. That's her 7th.
It was a perfect pass by McKissick. You just don't see a lot of perfect passes against this Arkansas team, and yet this is a result of a perfect pass. This is a much easier side out for Florida when they can nail the pass.
Muff with the serve, Hogue to Gillen. That's a duo that has practiced a ton.
Yeah.
They are always on the same page, it would seem. And the timing is perfect. It's like ballet. I'm sorry, I'm on your side on this one.
I know, the timing is literally like a middle blocker tempo. I mean, she is leaving the floor when the ball is leaving the setter's hands, but you have to know where your setter is on the floor. I mean, they communicate without speaking.
Cartwright, McKissick comes to meet it. Fitzpatrick tried to drop that one in. Gillen away from the net this time. Hogue resets her. Set back from Martin, and she finds the opening to get the point.
And I'm not sure if that was by design. It may have come off of her hand a little awkward, but Martin will certainly take it. She went a little beyond the short tip over the block into the center of the court where she was able to create some confusion. McKissick now serving for one of the outsides. Another subtle change in Florida's lineup. The Libero exchange used to be with the middles. Now the Libero exchange with one of the outsides, because Anna Dixon was a serving middle for Florida, and they don't want either of the middles serving now. So they do the exchange with their defensive special.
Not be able to against this Arkansas team that pretty much has dictated how things play out in their matches this year. 23-4, 13-2 in the SEC. Out of the timeout, Gillen to serve for Arkansas. They look for Martin. Gillen dives to save it. Sent over by the Razorbacks. The point continues. Cartwright has it blocked back. Okamura leading the charge at the net for Florida.
It's going to be 6 blocks now for Florida to Arkansas's 2. It's really what you would expect that number to look like. I mean, it's Florida's 1 advantage in this matchup. It could possibly be seen as one of Arkansas's disadvantages against the teams they play, but they do so much from the service line and so much with their backcourt defense that they really don't miss those blocks. But for Florida, it is a key piece.
McKissick dug it out. Gators a chance to go in front. But now free ball. Cartwright gets the points. Well, they say no. They thought it was touched. Arkansas side did. Jason Watson will bring out the challenge card.
From where we sat live, I thought I saw a touch. However, we all know that I have been wrong many, many times, so it'll be good to get another look at this one.
Your turn. All right, about to get the call, and the call is confirmed. No touch, so an unsuccessful challenge for Arkansas. That leaves them with 1 through the 4th set if we get there, and if we get to a 5th set, each team is given an additional challenge, no more than 2 available for a team per match.
That's a huge point to Florida.
Sure
Every
is.
point beyond 20, it's that race to 5.
Muff sends it back. Martin. Oh, Martin again. We've seen her with some powerful attacks this season, but she's had success with a couple of change-ups that have dropped in.
And she is pushing that tip almost.
Led by Martin, who, despite all the injuries, to your point that you talked about right at the top of the show, has been so consistent, and she's been so good.
I think what sets Martin apart is the adjustments she had to make mid-season. You know, they lose their starting setter the last match of pre-conference. They have to jump into the second most difficult conference in the country in terms of RPI for conferences, and they have no time to practice. And so she's had to make huge adjustments, and her numbers just continue to stay so steady. That's, I think, why her performance is incredibly impressive.
Good dig by Gillen. Cartwright, a little off balance. Florida on a 3-0 run. Victoria, diving save by Hogue. They say it was up, and a point for Arkansas. This surely will be challenged by Florida, saying this one was down and it wasn't saved by Hogue. As we wait for the replays, just one final thing that I love, though. You just went through that list, and we can add some other freshmen to it as the call is going to be overturned. Successful challenge for Florida, so that was down, and Florida close again. I mean, Delay's playing great for Kentucky, as we just mentioned. Harper Murray second on Nebraska and kills percent behind, ironically enough, Merritt Beeson, former Florida Gator. Riley's the setter for the #1 team in the country.
Right.
Babcock had 23 kills in that thrilling win for Pitt against Louisville. And Chicoine was big in the upset of Wisconsin the other day. Right now, Florida's closing in on a match, a set win here.
To be honest with you, I think you can include Torres as though that is another adjustment they have made, along with, chipping away at that right back defense.
Serving for the set. And Cartwright will keep it alive here for Arkansas.
High, deep corners, nearly undefendable, and Cartwright is the master at it.
Set point number 2 for Florida. Jackson with the serve. That one drops in. They say it was touched. It's a point for Florida, and the set goes to the Gators on a 6-1 run. Ready for set 3. Arkansas to serve with Hannah Hogue. Fitzpatrick has it pushed back by Arkansas. Point for the Razorbacks. Zoe Evans up front.
It's a good opportunity there for Florida because it may have been a miss on the serve from Hannah Hogue. I don't think they really want Ellie McKissick to be the passer. She put up a really nice pass. It would have been a good side-out opportunity for Florida.
Yeah, that time they avoid McKissick and it pays off for a point for Arkansas.
Florida starts in this rotation, and yet it can be a little difficult because they've got Kennedy Martin over in left front. All three hitters stacked in left front. Let's see what they try to do with her here.
Hogue coming off the third ace of the match for Arkansas. Muff sends it back to Martin. Cartwright calls for it. Hogue. McKissick to Martin. Hogue to Taylor Head. Martin again. Another changeup works well for Florida.
Martin has to go up and over the block, and guess who the block is? Jill Gillen. Not the biggest block in the league, and yet she's so disciplined. You see those block deflections time and time again. She's getting a piece of it, slowing it down, allowing that Arkansas defense to just transition behind.
McKissick back to serve for Florida. Gillen denied by the Florida block. That one goes to Arkansas.
That one's got trouble written all over it. It's tight and it's inside. Those are two indicators of success for the block. And Mary Wise is motioning to Sophia Victoria right now. We talked about the block deflection of Gillen. Martin gets the deflection that time against Gillen, but Florida not able to transition that.
Floor blocks now for the Razorbacks. Hannah Hogue dives in to save it. Cartwright hits it too far. Point for the Gators.
Cartwright's been placing them on the inline all day long, so great communication on Florida to let that one go.
Trinity Adams will come on to serve for the Gators. Gators have won 3 in a row after a 3-match losing streak. Those losses were to Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky. Point Arkansas.
Kennedy Martin went ahead with 11 kills, and Taylor Head keeps pace, make it 11 for her as well. That was a hard ball for the Florida block because Taylor Head well off the net, and so the block just a little early, didn't time it quite right.
Essex comes up limping just a bit, but it is a point for Florida. Seems to be okay.
Yeah. And if there's a team who can't afford another injury, I would say it's the Gators.
Alexis Stuckey, Kara Hudson, Anna Dixon. Dixon, the middle blocker. There's Essex in the middle for Florida. Martin with the dig. Tough set for Victoria to handle. Cartwright makes Florida pay for the mistake.
Cartwright continues to challenge Florida's right back as she just swings high. That time she cuts it inside the block, typically high into the seam, but that time she's able to cut it inside the block.
And a service error by Cartwright. That is number 8 now for Arkansas.
And with the libero exchange between Florida's outsides, one of them has to serve. And there's been matches where we've seen AC Fitzpatrick serve, but as of late it's been Sophia Victoria getting the nod.
Taylor Head with the kill. That's number 12.
Taylor Head, with her range, we've seen her use every part of the court. She's got sharp angle, deep shots, roll shots, that time straight down the line.
Served by Head. Gillen off hands. Florida sticking with it. Fitzpatrick, good rip. I started to talk before about AC Fitzpatrick, Mary Wise, some time ago, and it's like, well, tell us about AC a little bit. She's going, this is what she said, an undersized outside who likes to blast the ball.
Yeah.
That's someone you can root for right there.
Yes, it is. A player that everyone loves to cheer for.
Kanan. Set back for Pettis. Razorbacks up by 2 here in set 3. Jada Lawson comes on the serve.
You can see the angle is completely wide open for Pettis. No blocker there. And yet with Katie Martin's length, when you talk about how much a player means to a team, she nearly makes a play on that ball. She plays such a nice middle back with all that length.
Fitzpatrick off speed, drops it in.
Tricky though, does such a nice job of disguising this. I mean, she comes in with that big arm swing. It's not until right there that you can tell she's going to go with the tip.
So much for that whole blast the ball thing I was just talking about.
Everybody's got to have a change-up.
That's right. We need to have a few tools in the toolkit. And Florida celebrating that point. They love that, tying it up at 7.
I tell you what, the setting choice there, one of the few that maybe Hannah Hogue would like to have back as the block is just waiting on Jill Gill. That would be a great time to reverse the flow, but no hitter in right front. She'd have to go to the back row.
7 blocks for the Gators. That's more like blasting the ball that we've come to expect. AC Fitzpatrick tees up another one. Double digits now with 10.
It's a really good front row for Florida. 3 attackers, a great back row line of defense. This is a rotation where they need to push for points.
Gillen makes sure they side out. Point for Arkansas.
And something a little different. I've been setting Jill Gillen all the way out at the antenna. They go for more of a gap set here. The block looks like they're going to be in position. It looks like it's going to be easy for them, but then she cuts it inside the middle blocker with that really sharp angle.
Gillen into double figures now with 10 kills, hitting at 242. Another service error. Been an issue for Arkansas today. 9 errors, 3 aces for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, and anytime you can get Hannah Hogue or Courtney Jackson off the service line, you breathe a sigh of relief.
McKissick back to serve for Florida. Goes short. Gillen winds up and delivers another kill.
I mean, it looks like Florida puts the perfect serve in play. This is an ace against so many teams, and Taylor Head comes diving in with a beautiful pass, and it's just a quick side out for Arkansas and what looked like it would be a point for Florida.
Good hard serve by Gillen. Had a lot of drop on it, looked like. And no, that one almost found the mark, but no. Martin missed the mark. It's a point for Arkansas.
It's a really good pass by Kanan because it is a hard serve off Jill Gillen, and she doesn't overpass it too tight to the net. That's what you want to do there. Just hang it up in the middle of the court. Give your setter a chance. Another good pass. A reset by Victoria.
Another pancake attempt here for Arkansas. We've seen a few today. They play on. Looked like that one was pretty clean. Battle at the nets. Won by Victoria for Florida. Wasn't much of a fight at the net.
Sophia Victoria does such a nice job of managing swings that feel like they're going to be really difficult in Mata's system. And sometimes those are her prettiest swings. She makes the hard stuff look easy.
Adams waiting to serve, tied at 10. It's been a tight match. Hogue back for Cartwright. Another block for the Gators.
It's a nice job by Gabby Essex of not giving up on this ball. It looked like she was beat. She had to hold in the middle before she was able to release to her left, but just does a good job of staying with it and is able to dive into that seam.
Adams got it. Buff to Victoria. Point Gators. Up by 2 now in set 3.
Some good middle back play by a number of Florida Gators, including Trinity Adams, who are doing a great job of playing the balls off the block deflection. And Florida going heavy on the short serve. We'll see if Trinity Adams goes to it again.
She does. Head block. Martin at the net. Florida building some momentum here in set 3.
The harder you hit it, the harder it comes back. Continues to grow, +5 right now after a couple of big shutdowns there at the pin by Kennedy Martin.
4-0 run forced the Arkansas timeout. Head out of the timeout with the big swing and the point for Arkansas.
Notice what Arkansas does out of the timeout. Kennedy Martin had shut down Head at the pin several times. They go for the gap set, and honestly, Kennedy Martin's ready for it. Did you see she was right there? Head has to swing into the middle blocker and around Kennedy Martin to get that kill.
Essex. Did she reach over? The call is she reached over the net, and it's a point for Arkansas. Mary Weiss sprinting up to protest this call. Gabby Essex thinks it's a Florida point.
I wasn't sure that the Florida player touched the ball on that last contact. This is not a reviewable situation, and this is a very tight moment in this set. I'm curious here to see if the Florida player actually makes contact with the ball.
I think maybe just a little.
Maybe. Yeah. Wow.
Leave no doubt this time. Sophia Victoria with the kill.
Great response by Florida here passing, and the passing for Florida has steadied out. We saw it dip in set 2 after a pretty solid set 1, and it's looking really solid yet again.
Head with the point for Arkansas. 14 kills now for Taylor Head.
It's the matchup that obviously Hannah Hogue is going to try to exploit when she's got Head hitting over Kennedy Muff. You would think Kennedy Muff would do the same here and go to the outside with Sophia Victoria over Hannah Hogue now.
Cartwright serves it to Adams. Essex on the slide, missed the mark, and Arkansas fighting back here in the third. Cartwright ready to serve for the Razorbacks. Victoria. Jackson got there. Muff tried to send it deep. Head resets. McKissick, great save to get it up. Head again. Victoria goes long. Point Arkansas.
Look how shallow McKissick has to come to make a play on this. All the way up into left front. That is where Taylor Head is smashing them. Now, there should be maybe a little asterisk next to that loss for Arkansas because that was their 5th straight road match in a row.
Head gets the point out of the timeout to give Arkansas another point to add to this run. 4-0 run.
This is where Florida has to be very careful not to allow the passing to snowball. They've got to settle in here, get a good first contact.
They get it with McKissick. Essex comes down again. You wonder too, we saw that earlier, did she come down on a foot for an opponent at the net? Gabby seems fine.
I think that's twice now that maybe she's landed on, and if it happened once and you're trying to walk it off and then it happens again, that's where there's trouble.
Another float serve for Florida. Fitzpatrick. Pettis for the point.
The line judge initially motions out and then switches it to in, but I got to be honest with you, Eric, I'm watching Gabby Essex over the course of that rally, and she does not look comfortable.
Blocked out of play. Yeah, she's still limping. Great point, Missy. This is tough here because Essex is really trying to gut it out because we've talked about how shorthanded Florida is, and she knows there aren't reinforcements coming right now, and she's trying to do all she can to fight out there, it would appear. Blocked back onto AC Fitzpatrick. It's all Arkansas right now, and a timeout being called by Florida. I mean, for Hudson, think about those first 3 matches for Florida. 3-0 start in the season. Those 3 wins: Penn State, South Florida, Stanford. Florida, much needed point out of the timeout to try to stem the tide here for Arkansas. Essex has a chance to come out now.
And when we talk about adjustments for Florida over the course of the season, realize Alexis Stuckey was a much taller setter across the front row. So what was a good pass to Alexis Stuckey becomes a really difficult ball for Kennedy Muff. So those passers have had to learn to keep that ball off the net.
There's the block. AC Fitzpatrick for Florida with her first block.
Moments ago, it was AC Fitzpatrick who got stuffed by Hannah Hogue down the line. And now AC Fitzpatrick returns the favor on what looked to be a huge advantage to Pettis. Just one blocker up, and it's the small outside blocker. But AC Fitzpatrick does a great job leaning into the seam there.
Gillen, athletic move. Looked like her body was moving one way. The ball was kind of behind, and she still found a way to get the point.
This is where experience pays for a team like Arkansas. These players have not just played so much volleyball, they've played so much volleyball together, side by side.
Gillen does a great job of just resetting and getting in position to get everything into a swing, doesn't she?
She does, and it feels like a missed opportunity, though, for Florida, who we've talked about needing to be steady with their passing. That was one of their most perfect passes. They're not able to convert that to a kill.
14 kills for Gillen, 15 for Head. Gillen hitting .324, by the way. Blocked back, that drops in. Arkansas points. When you're hot, you're hot.
And the crowd is liking what they're seeing in Barnhill. This is a little different look for Kennedy Martin, who's gone in front of the setter over and over and over. Out of the back row, they move things up a little, and a great read by that Arkansas block as they're just all over it.
Zoe Evans with the block for Arkansas. That's her 3rd block. Arkansas now up to 6 blocks. Florida with 10. Lawson serves with Arkansas up by 5 in the 3rd. Muff goes the long way, Fitzpatrick, and violation called on Arkansas.
That is good news for Florida, as those 2-hitter rotations really can stress Florida offensively. And with that side out, it'll send Kennedy Martin to the front row.
Muff again with the float serve. We've seen a lot of this from Florida. We've seen the float serve. We've seen a lot of success with the off-speed attacks as well, just trying to find different ways to keep Arkansas on their heels.
Yeah, they really have.
Hannah Hogue. Martin, point Florida.
That was a difficult rotation for Florida last time around. So this time they literally have Kennedy Martin sprinting from left front over to the right side of the court to be available for the side out swing, and she comes through.
McKissick serving with her Gators down by 4. Muff back for Martin. Another off-speed attack for Florida that works, and works well for Kennedy Martin, her 13th kill. Gators creeping back into it here in the 3rd. McKissick to Head. Hogue, Gillen. Muff back to Martin. Hogue to Gillen, off hands. Point Arkansas, set point for the Razorbacks, and they'll come to their feet here at the barn.
Hogue is doing such a nice job of putting it in the window, meaning she's giving her hitters every opportunity. They could go angle or line because of the placement of her set. It is so consistent.
Gillen serving for the set. Muff, no one there. Arkansas wins the set. Overall average, but that last set more in line with what Arkansas has done defensively to teams throughout this season. Set number 4 underway. Arkansas on top 2-1. Arkansas wins the set. The match is over. Florida wins. We'll go to a 5th set and play to 15. And into the net. Point Arkansas.
Florida pushing hard and low over the net, reaching for those blocks. We know how important those Florida blocks are.
Florida hoping to go on a late season run here and hope that there's things that fall into place elsewhere around the country that maybe they would be able to host the opening rounds of the NCAA tournament at the O-Dome. Arkansas certainly in position as that one is tipped and a point for Florida. Arkansas is certainly in position to host here. The last time they hosted NCAA tournament matches was in 2016, so it's been a little while.
Arkansas in great position, and yet they've got a really tough conclusion to the season.
They do.
I mean, they just had 7 of their last 8 games on the road. Now they play 3 matches in 6 days, and those 3 matches include today's opponent, Florida, Kentucky, and Auburn. So this is a tall order here at the end of the season for the Razorbacks. And yet the flip side of that is they will certainly be tournament ready.
Zoe Evans misses the mark, and Florida out to an early lead here in set 4.
The short serve again for Florida, and again it works.
That has been an effective tool for the Gators here today. Now up 3-1. McKissick trying to keep the run going for the Gators. Off hands, and the Gators make it a 4-0 run here in set 4.
Coach Watson made an adjustment there prior to the serve, and they got a better pass out of that. But there's some of that nice right back defense that Florida has been searching for. That time Canaan able to defend the cross-court shot.
Short serve, tough for Gillen to handle, and Taylor Head been quiet for a little while, but involved in that point.
She and Jill Gillen now both with 16 kills on the day.
Jackson with a good serve. Victoria floated it over. Victoria with a big rip, that is long, and it's a point for Arkansas. Jackson to serve again. I think that said it all, and you didn't say very much. You just knew that wasn't what Florida was looking for.
Oh.
There is Okamore with the kill.
And what we're seeing is the big difference between these two teams. For Arkansas, it's the experience of having played so much volleyball together. And for Florida, it's the miscommunication of new pieces in the puzzle as the season continues to evolve. Because twice now, you have seen Kennedy Muff, their setter, pulled into right front, trying to set a ball to Kennedy Martin, and she's setting it behind, and Kennedy Martin is making a move to come in front of her. Neither of those are bad choices. You could do either. They just don't know what the other person is going to do, and you don't see that happen very often for Arkansas.
That one ended up in the Barnhill rafters, so you play on.
Wow.
Hogue for Cartwright. McKissick, Victoria, the block, Cartwright, Pettis teaming up for Arkansas.
Big block for Maggie Cartwright as she just seals the line. And the Florida outsides have had really tough looks today. You know, I feel like Sophia Victoria and AC Fitzpatrick have been put in some difficult situations.
Got a little delay here. We play on. Cartwright for Arkansas. Oh, you could hear that one. It was Martin with a little bit of a yell and then the concussive hit on the attack.
It's a good pass by Ellie McKissick. The ball's a little inside. Kenny Martin goes with it high and deep.
14 kills now for Martin and a service error for Florida. That is the 7th for the Gators. Taylor Head. Sent back by Muff, but out of play, and Arkansas has another point.
And this is the kind of serving that separates Arkansas. It's easy to look at a stat sheet and see, oh, how many aces do they have? But that's not even what the coaches are concerned about. It's these kind of serves that create overpasses, that create one-option opportunities. That's what Arkansas does over and over.
Where will Hogue go? She'll go to Gillen. Victoria. Hogue goes back to Gillen. Off the block. Point Arkansas.
And as we see the battle on the left side, the connection for Florida doesn't feel like it's quite there. They're not getting the quality swing from the left side. And then the reverse of that, Jill Gillen out here with every shot available to her, and she blasts it through the seam. I think that's her favorite.
Point Victoria for Florida to tie it at 7.
I like the switch up there for Florida. They're having trouble connecting out at the pin. It doesn't seem like they're on the same page. So they go with a gap set inside, a different look for Sophia Victoria.
Victoria serves. Handled by Jackson. Pettis rolls it over. And Essex in the middle gets the point for the Gators.
For Essex, it's going to be 5 kills now. For Nadie Okamore, it's 4. So the middles have combined for 9, and yet most of those have come with the open hand shove over.
Hogue looks for the point and will get it. Hannah Hogue with her 4th kill of the match. We're tied at 8.
Arkansas picked on Florida's defense in that same manner throughout the first matchup of these two teams. They felt like Florida's wings tend to collapse into the center of the court very quickly. It leaves those deep shots open, and Hannah Hogue does a great job of throwing it to the corner.
Jada Lawson, service error number 10 for Arkansas.
Arkansas using their libero exchange with their middles as Florida used to, and yet they don't have either of their middles serve. So they make a substitution there with Lawson, and then of course Courtney Jackson serving for the other middle.
Emily Kanan will serve for the Gators. Kanan had 3 aces against Mizzou, all in the first set, back-to-back late in that first set. They'll put it away for Florida. They went on to sweep the Tigers. Fitzpatrick bumps it over. Hogue sets it to Gillen. Florida was ready for her. Well, nice job by the setter for Florida. Kennedy Muff with a sneaky little play to get the point to put Florida up by 2 here in the 4th.
Muff gets a nice roll of the net there thanks to her hard shove. She had just enough on that one to get it to fall over. Good choice by Kennedy Muff.
Hogue trying to work the middle to Evans. Florida answers with Okamore on the middle attack, and that one is going to miss the mark and give the point to Arkansas.
Doesn't land where she wants it to, but you see the idea of pushing it up and over the defense into the deep corner. That shot is open.
Hannah Hogue, third in the conference in total aces entering play today. Oh, Hogue tried to reach back, and that one is going to be a point for Florida. Jason Watson went to the challenge card quickly.
And from where we sit, you heard Coach Watson quickly say, no way. He did not agree with that call. There have been several.
Arkansas is out of challenges for the rest of this fourth set.
Right.
Again, if we get to a fifth set, they will be given an additional challenge. But that could be key here for anything borderline. Cartwright.
Off 1 foot. Oh, my.
That's all Fitzpatrick could do with it, I think. Gillen has it rejected by Kennedy Martin at the net.
AC Fitzpatrick did not have a lot of options with that ball. Amazing that she was able to get it over between the antennas. It's a free ball opportunity basically for Arkansas, and the Florida block just seals the net.
First block of this set for the Gators, 11 for the match. And then Cartwright misses the mark, and now the Gators building a little momentum, and I think a timeout. Yes, a timeout being called by Arkansas, down by 4 here in set number 4. Florida needs to have this set. They're up by 4. A reminder, some holiday hoops coming up the day after Thanksgiving. Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, men's basketball. Marshall at Rupp Arena to take on the Wildcats. See it right here on the SEC Network. Florida Gators in a must-win set, holding Arkansas to .080 hitting in this set. So sub 100 for Arkansas. A team that's been outstanding, third in the SEC in attack percentage. They come out looking for Gillen out of the Arkansas timeout. Dug out by Head. Gillen with the reset off the block for the point.
And Gillen with some emotion after that swing. Realize for Arkansas in serve receive, it is always Gillen, Head, and Jackson. Those 3.
Gillen's got emotion after every swing, but they're just different Jill Gill emotion levels on a 1 through 5 scale. I think that one's going to be an emotional one for Taylor Head. She's pumped up after the point.
A kill for Jill Gill, and then she goes back and creates a kill from the service line.
Fitzpatrick off the block, out of play, point Gators.
And that's a better ball to the pin because Fitzpatrick had a clean look at the line. She wasn't trapped inside. Now we're going to get a look at that serve receive for Arkansas. I alluded to moments ago, always the same 3 players. And Coach Watson said none of them have to be the best serve receive player in the conference, but we want them to be the best group of serve receivers so that you don't know who to avoid. And what they've done here that's so impressive is now they're dropping Maggie Cartwright back to pass the short serve that was giving them trouble, and they're doing it just effortlessly. I feel like Maggie Cartwright over the course of this match has just evolved into dropping back into serve receive, and she's just nailing pass after pass.
Head with the attack error. That's her 6th error. She's hitting at 262. Gives a point to the Gators, and McKissick to serve. Head can't get it back because Florida, again with the defense at the net. I mean, Florida perennially a good defensive team, and we know about the problems of the injuries, the season-ending injuries to so many key players who would be difference makers at the front, but that's in the Florida DNA, whoever's on the floor. Cartwright off hands, point for Arkansas.
Tell you what, Cartwright has contributed in big ways here today. You might not see it in the numbers, but the small things, the serve receive she's providing, and then some big side out play. We see her off 2 feet time and time again, but they're in serve receive off 1 foot. It just provides another look. It's hard to defend.
Courtney Jackson with the serve. Victoria on the attack for Florida. Hogue sets it back for Cartwright. Victoria, another off speed from the Gators. Arkansas has got that one. McKissick, Victoria. A lot on this one, but too much. And they say it was touched, so point Florida. Remember, Arkansas without a challenge for the rest of this 4th set.
Yeah, that could become very important down the stretch here. This was really nice secondary setting, though, by Ellie McKissick. She hung it right up there. You see Sophia. Yes, and there was a touch.
Yep.
Great call by the up official. Wow. Ellie McKissick, time and time again, making plays.
Oh! Wow. Florida at the net. What a block, and a timeout is called by Arkansas. What'd you say earlier? It goes back harder. The harder you hit it, the harder it comes back. Oh, my goodness. That came right back on the bridge of the nose of Courtney Jackson.
And tell you, one of the things Arkansas does so incredibly well is block coverage. They get in there for part of the season, and Megan Wilson on the right side, Lamb and DeLay on the left side for the Wildcats today, and don't have any word as to why.
DeLay ended up with 20 kills for the match. Team hit 386 in that win over Mizzou. Taylor Head winds up and gets the point for Arkansas.
There was an overpass at the net by Arkansas that Gabby Essex was able to get a hand on, but not much more than a hand. And I feel like that can be an issue for Florida at times. A ball passed over the net that they don't convert on that feels like could be a free point.
Maggie Cartwright back to serve for Arkansas. Muff sent it to Essex, but it drops into the net, and it's a point for the Razorbacks.
Absolutely perfect pass. 3 options for Florida. That is what you're hoping for.
Cartwright again. On the attack, that one will drop in, and a point for Florida.
And so after setting Essex, they float one past her. And I think everybody probably expecting that ball to Kennedy Martin. So a little against the flow there for Florida as they float one past Essex. And Sophia Victoria takes a rip in the gap.
Hogue for Head. Muff. Heady play by Kennedy Muff to find the open spot, and Florida is on top by 6 here in the 4th.
I like this. Redirection with purpose. Leave no doubt. Kennedy Muff gets the ball to the floor in a hurry. That is well done.
And a good serve here for the Gators, pulling away here in the 4th set.
Arkansas without a timeout, without a challenge. Florida up by 7, and in this set alone, Arkansas hitting 079 to Florida's 258.
But then Florida hurts themselves with a service error. That is their 8th. Taylor Head will try to settle things down at the service line here for Arkansas, but is it too late here in set 4?
Good defense by Adams and right back.
Back row attack coming from Kennedy Martin. The freshman gets the kill. That's her 15th of the match.
And I mean, major fist pumps from all Florida coaches, as that is the rotation that Florida does not want to stay in for long. Great defense, just simple play up out of the back row by Adams to keep them in that.
Gillen winds up and delivers. Point Arkansas.
One of the heaviest arms in the game, and you just don't expect it from what's listed as a 5'7" frame, and that could be generous at 5'7".
20 kills for Gillen, 5th time this season she's reached the 20 kill mark. Her season high 24 against Ole Miss last time out. She'll out to her total here, 21, and Jill Gillen says, this set isn't over yet.
Gillen heating up, taking every advantage of this competitive opportunity against Florida. We talked about the fact that Florida missing players. Jill Gillen missed a little of last season with an injury, so she's enjoying being on the court right now.
Lawson serves. Florida out of sync right now. Mary Wise recognizing it. She's going to call a timeout.
They just have a beautiful arm swing.
Victoria into double digits with 11 kills for Florida today. They can use one here for the Gators, and they get it from AC Fitzpatrick. She has been perhaps the most valuable Gator here today. You know Kennedy Martin is going to get her points, but Fitzpatrick now up to 15 kills for the Gators.
When the pass is there, that's the matchup you want to go at. You've got the setter in the front row. It's a matter of getting the pass and then a nice delivery to the outside that allowed Fitzpatrick to swing over the setter.
Hogue to Gillen. Muff sets it for Martin. Kill for the Gators. Set point, Florida.
And you see just how dangerous that swing is out of the back row for Kennedy Martin because it's so fast, but that's also why there can be errors. It is such a quick, low delivery out of the back row that if it's not on, that ball can go straight into the net.
Set point for Florida. Hogue to Gillen.
Not so fast, my friend. We talked about if the pass is there, this is the matchup you want, swinging over the setter. Florida did it moments ago, and now Jill Gill as well.
Question is, can they find that matchup again here, facing set point number 2? Fitzpatrick doesn't give them a chance. Another big swing from AC Fitzpatrick. 16 kills for Fitzpatrick, 16 for Martin. How about we play 5 Fayetteville for volleyball?
And that's incredibly exciting because this is what we expect to be a host site for first and second rounds, and these are the kind of crowds that are going to be on hand. It's going to be a fun tournament.
Cartwright looking for the first point. Gillen takes advantage of it, puts it away for Arkansas. Remember, we played a 15 here in this 5th set. Arkansas does have one challenge. Remember, they were out of challenges in the 4th set, and Florida has 2 challenges. But it goes quick here in the 5th because we're only going to 15, and with the drama built up, the intensity built up, it is exciting. Head from the back row, floats it over. Muff sends it back for Martin. Head diving play to keep it alive. Both teams on their heels a little bit on this point, and the point goes to Arkansas.
We're going to get a challenge.
Mary Wise goes to the challenge card. Florida believes that Arkansas made contact on that attack, and it should be a Florida point.
And to be honest, I have no idea. I'll have to see the replay, but I will say AC Fitzpatrick did the very most she could with that ball. She made a play out of it. She had to go up and high point it, contact it at its highest point, and with any chance to push it off a blocker's hands. This is a difficult ball.
Does that left index finger wobble back a little bit? Yeah, I think to your point, Missy, because Fitzpatrick really has to make an athletic play to do something with something so tough, it just came out of her hand on an upward trajectory, and I think that's what Florida's seeing right away. It's like, well, the reason it went up is because it got tipped, but I don't know if there's enough there.
Florida clapping, I think they already feel like they've received word that it was tipped. Yeah.
And that is the call. So a successful challenge for Mary Wise and the Gators. Good play by Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, incredible play by Fitzpatrick, though. So athletic.
McKissick to serve.
Short serves again, and Cartwright handling them. What a dig.
Gillen got everything into that one. McKissick was ready for it. Those two have battled quite a bit over the last 4 years. That one's deflected out of play. It's a point for Arkansas.
This is Arkansas at its best. Antenna to antenna. First ball to the left side, an absolute rip by Gillen, and it's only a better dig that keeps it alive. Then they reverse the flow, one antenna to the other, and you see there's a hole in that block because the middle blocker asked to cover so much ground. 9
kills now for Cartwright. Oh gosh, that one came in fast and hard again on Courtney Jackson. We saw her get in the contact on the bridge of the nose on the block, and her teammates just circling around her, and junior from Kansas being saluted by the home crowd here.
This is a tough Arkansas group right here. They don't even flinch. Look at them, just step back into serve, receive, come at me again.
Trinity Adams. Set back, Cartwright. Adams there defensively. Back for Taylor Head in the block. Gabby Essex.
Tell you what, Trinity Adams, she's played right back and middle back, being asked to do multiple things, and she's playing a good middle back to keep Florida in this rally. And Gabby Essex, who earlier struggling with a thumb, taped it up and is right back to work.
And she had been limping as well, so she is nowhere near 100%, but she's digging deep. 14 blocks now for Florida.
Short serve creates trouble. Can Florida take advantage?
Essex does. She drops it in, and the Gators are on top 4-2 here in the 5th.
It's the short serve that gets them the opportunity, and it's just the soft finesse shot from Gabby Essex.
3 straight points for Florida, again with the float serve for the Gators. Cartwright with the winner.
And I tell you, the point of that short serve into right front is to clog up the attack from the right side, maybe hopefully take Maggie Cartwright out of it, and yet she uses that sharp shot, roll shot there into right front and still finds a way to kill the ball.
Taylor Head at the net with the block for Arkansas. The 8th for the Razorbacks.
Taylor Head playing some good volleyball here today. Nothing really wrong with this swing from Kennedy Martin. It is just perfect block setup from Taylor Head. Look at that.
Pettis there to help out as well. Then a service error from Arkansas gives a point to Florida. 5-4 Gators, and freshman Kennedy Martin heads back to serve. Martin 17 kills, 10 digs, 8 blocks, but now a service error will give the point right back to Arkansas.
Both setters in the front row here.
Cartwright serves. Muff sends it back. Essex. Point Arkansas.
Just no snap on that from Gabby Essex. The pass from Trinity Adams is gorgeous, and Florida had opportunities there. Possibly Kennedy Martin out of the back row here.
Adams and serve receive. They look to Victoria. Well done by Florida on the attack to tie it at 6.
Obviously the pass not there for a back row attack, but the tempo that Muff creates there to Sophia Victoria in a one-option situation still gives her a really good look.
Victoria back to serve. Hogue for Head. Looking for Fitzpatrick. It is up. Another pancake. Arkansas diving all over the court here in set 5. Gillen, no. Set back for Cartwright.
Difficult over the shoulder.
Fitzpatrick got a lot on that one.
Adams out of left back now, getting digs.
Gillen with the dig. Great rally here in set 5. Muff, Essex on the slide. That goes long. Point for Arkansas. Mary Wise is going to the challenge card quickly.
And it's not on the final swing. They want a net violation prior to the final swing.
Can't say it enough. We only played a 15. Challenge unsuccessful.
This is where, as a coach, don't you wish you could go to the replay officials and find the exact moment in the rally and say, this is what I'm talking about right here, you know? Yeah, and it was hard to tell because the ball may have been what caused the movement at the net.
Fitzpatrick, Florida comes right back. No challenging that on the attack. AC Fitzpatrick leading the team with 18 kills. 7-7. Here's Emily Kanan.
Jill Gill out here at the left pin. Kennedy Muff defending on that side for Florida.
So that's where Arkansas would want to go right now.
You would think.
They serve it to Gillen. She sets, and then they find Gillen, but Florida's there with the defense. Okamura and Muff at the net. Muff, back row attack. Florida says touch. They're going to go back to the card. No touch called. Mary Wise calling for a challenge right away. For the moment, it's 7, and a touch is called.
You do not want me to rule in your favor. That is trouble written all over it.
You know, why don't you just stay right here as an analyst? We will not be.
I'm going to stay in my lane the rest of the match.
There's no need for you to freelance as a replay official.
In my lane. No more speculation from me.
So, Florida's on Saturday. After the changeover, Pettis floats it over, diving play.
No setter on the floor for Florida. They go with the blocking sub.
Good point, missing, and there's Jill Gill on senior day with the big swing.
Maddie Gravely, wearing 15 for Florida, was in the match momentarily right there. The block set up on the right side, and Jill Gill does a good job of avoiding her.
Lawson on to serve for Arkansas here in set 5. Off the block, Gillen tight at the net. McKissick collides with Kanan, but Florida gets the point. They had a couple of bodies down, but the Gators, the gritty Gators, stay with it, and they get the point.
AC Fitzpatrick now leading the way for Florida, 19 kills. Kennedy Martin just 1 behind her.
Muff goes with the float serve again. It's been effective. Gillen hangs in the air. McKissick with the diving play, but Florida can't save it. Point, Arkansas.
Tell you what, if you're Florida, you're counting down the rotations to get Jill Gillen out of the front row. But guess who's opposite her? Taylor Head. So there's never any relief.
New season high for Gillen in kills with 25 back-to-back new season highs in back-to-back matches. 24 last match against Ole Miss.
You think this season means something to her?
You think this match means something to her? Senior day here at the barn.
Yeah.
That one floats out of play, and it's a point for the Gators. 10-9 Florida.
Some of the changes Florida has made is to have Ellie McKissick serving in this particular rotation, a strong offensive rotation. And with the changes they've made defensively, it puts her at the service line in this particular rotation. She's a good server for Florida.
Gillen, that's in. Point Arkansas. Kill 26 for Jill Gill.
I'd say she made the most out of that trip across the front row. An absolute rip of a swing deep into the corner.
Gillen back to serve. Muff sets it back. The freshman with the rip for Florida. Kennedy Martin with her 19th kill.
Martin silences the crowd momentarily, but I expect them to pick up here pretty quickly. They are making it tough on these Florida servers.
Trinity Adams serves for the Gators. Floats it to Gillen. Cartwright on the attack. Point Arkansas.
And Gillen and Cartwright doing such a nice job of nailing that short pass that they're not taking away the right side attack from Cartwright at all. Blow for blow, back and forth we go.
Courtney Jackson. She's paid the price here today, hasn't she?
Yeah.
Gillen with the dig. Hogue to head. Picks the spot perfectly. Timeout, Florida.
This is the shot. And it was Jill Gillen in middle back who played it up. It is defense that is going to turn the tide here for one of these teams.
This group of seniors led Arkansas to their first NCAA tournament trip since 2013, a season ago, hoping to host the opening rounds this year and make a deep tournament run. But it starts now with Florida. They've got the Gators on their heels here. That ball is out of play. Mary Wise up protesting right away. Point Arkansas.
She feels like there could have been an over the net call there. And she is going to use her final timeout.
Takes a couple of...
That I feel like could have these teams so tournament ready. Could this be the season where we see the Southeastern Conference teams make deep runs into the NCAA tournament?
This is not the last home match for the seniors for Arkansas. Likely far from it. But it is senior day. You want to win on senior day. That makes the celebration, the ceremony, that much sweeter.
Yes,
2 points
does.
away. Another good serve by Jackson. Defense there for Arkansas. Cartwright, that's another one. It's off the speakers and drops in. Point for Arkansas. Match point, Razorbacks.
Mary Wise with a short discussion here with the down official to ask about the speakers. I have a feeling she probably knows the response, but it gives her team just a moment to regroup. If the ball hits the speakers and comes back on your side, you would have another play on that, but because it traveled over, it's out of bounds.
Match point. That one is off the mark. The Arkansas Razorbacks in 5 win on senior day.
बाद दिन चल के बा बंदे
रिकॉर्डिंग स्टूडियो सिमरा।